All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sit Down Remix. I'm your host, Travis Campbell, and obviously today we've got a special guest on the show. If you guys follow NBA YouTube Shorts or TikToks at all, you might have seen this guy. This is Mr. Andrew Fenichel. Andrew, what's going on, man?
What's up, brother? Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, of course. Andrew has almost 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. He just recently became a full-time content creator, former NFL Network employee, and just one of my favorite people that in the content space because love all of the interactions with him, and he has some hot takes, but he backs them up, so who cares? All right. So we're gonna get right into it. Before we do though, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads because they can get sporadic at times, and y'all need to know when I'm uploading. So that's if you watch me, of course. If you just came across this and want to leave now, go ahead. It's all right.
Nah, don't leave
Um,
now. What's the point of that?
oh
Stick
yeah.
around.
Hey. All right. So obviously, Andrew, me and you are big NBA guys. You that's what you're most known for on TikTok and YouTube Shorts is NBA hot takes and reactions. So what in the world is going on during opening week? I've watched like 4 games. I'm gonna be completely honest. I've not watched much of NBA because
Okay.
got college football going on. You had the World Series this past week, so um, let's just give some like reactions as to like what we've seen and how your takes are going so far. I guess.
I mean, your team's looking pretty good. The
Yeah.
Thunder, it's funny because everyone was hot on the Thunder going into the season, right? I mean, they were the odds-on favorites to win the West. People were talking like 65 plus wins, and somehow they maybe look better. I mean, like Chet completely dominated Wemby head to head a couple nights ago. I don't know if you have to watch that game, but
I did get to watch it. It
that
was
was
awesome.
yeah, Chet, dude, Chet might be Kendrick Perkins. I'm not the biggest fan. He has a take recently though that Chet is the modern day KG, and I absolutely love that because I think Chet is like completely reevaluating what we thought his ceiling was. I mean, Chet's unreal. So there's my little Thunder rant. Uh, Other reactions: the Bucks are washed. Could talk about that. I mean, they're 1-4 and they're getting blown out. It's not good. At least like the Nuggets look kind of cooked too, but at least the Nuggets are finding ways to win, and Jokic is elevating to an even higher level. So at least they're like staying afloat. Right now, the Bucks just look like they're on a. Did you watch the latest Mission Impossible?
I've not watched the last. I've not. I don't think I've watched a full Mission Impossible in my
Okay,
life.
fair.
So no.
I binged them all like 6 months ago or a year ago, whenever the most recent one came out. If you saw the scene with the train that just falls off the tracks and is just hanging, that's the Bucks. I mean, like, there's talks of Giannis asking out. They're also a luxury tax team, so like they can't even really make any trades. So the Bucks are cooked, and then Celtics are probably just winning it all again.
Hmm. Yeah, I saw. So a few weeks ago, I saw a take from another creator I respect. It was from Frank Michael Smith, and he was talking about like the some of the off the radar moves that the Bucks made, like going and getting Gary Trent Jr., getting some wing depth. It hasn't helped because the chemistry between Dame and Giannis is still screwed up. Like the clip of them saying they don't work out together in the offseason, that is being amplified. And it's not just that, it is also the fact that Dame hasn't been Dame looks like he's he's unmotivated and it's clear. I think Giannis. So my one of my hot takes for season was Embiid asks out at the deadline. I think now it's Giannis is going to be the one that asks out and gets traded at the deadline.
If you're the Thunder, I mean, you can pretend you're Sam Presti.
All right.
Are you just unloading the war chest? Whatever the Bucks ask for, you pretty much give.
The
I guess
issue
I
with
should define what that is.
the issue with that is what would a trade for Giannis look like in terms of players and how many draft pick? Because the thing
Sure.
is, Giannis is still 29 years old. It's not like he's 33 going downhill trying to get a championship before he becomes washed. Like he is still at the top of his game. So if you're the Bucks, in my opinion, you unload Dame for role players. Like, get a role playing point guard who's a good distributor. Get
Mhm.
a big man to maybe kind of take over for Brook Lopez, and you roll with what you got. Because at this point, because you've said this before, Milwaukee isn't a big market, so you're not going to be getting big time free agents. And the Thunder's kind of that way too, but you have such good chemistry with the Thunder at this point, and we don't even have Hartenstein playing yet.
Yep.
So I think you need to see the Thunder team with Hartenstein added, and you also need to see what maybe a Bucks team with Giannis and maybe I think they need to do kind of what the Nuggets did in their championship year, which is the one star, a good role player, and then a bunch of players that fit a system. They haven't built a team that's fit a system. They've built a team to fit a talent, like a talent ceiling. And they're experiencing massive hardships because of it, because none of those players work together.
I saw one person, maybe it was an article, pitch a Dame for DeJounte Murray and Brandon Ingram trade. I don't really know why the Pelicans would do that, even with
Pelicans
the
wouldn't.
whole. But like I was thinking, I mean, look, DeJounte Murray and I just don't even know like who would really want. There you
We
go. Got the
we we
lights
got,
on.
we got a power outage. Okay. Hey, we'll do this.
Are
Lights
you
off.
good? We can keep going.
No, it's good. Yeah.
All right. What year was the Super Bowl when the lights went out? Like 2013?
Yeah,
The
no, yeah,
Ravens?
this is I don't know what happened. It looked like the entire hallway down there too lost lights. We lose lights here, guys. We have technical difficulties. It's all right. We keep going.
Yeah, I just don't even really know who would want Lillard at this point. I just think he's looked really slow. It's not like, I mean, look, who do we blame for the chemistry issues? Is it Giannis? Like, why? Like, I feel like Dame should be getting more blame too. I'm not going to pretend like I know the inner workings of their personalities, but like,
Hmm.
Dame's the guy that came in and is the worst player, right? Like, why hasn't he worked better? I don't know. The whole thing, I agree with you. Like, just purely chemistry wise, it feels like the Bucks are already out of the whole season. And I don't know who's trading for a 30 whatever year old Lillard worth 44 million. I just
Yeah,
don't
and
think.
especially like that Ingram for DeJounte Murray, not only would that kill the depth that the Pelicans have at wing to begin with, because that having Brandon Ingram allows them to use guys like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy in those different ways. And there's no way you can, I guess, keep that going if you trade off Ingram, who's your second best player and arguably your best player since Zion plays 30 games a year. Like, you don't have that kind of flexibility if you're either side. So the Bucks are stuck unless they find some suitor for Dame who's looking to make a push and who needs a score first guy. And that's not a lot of guys and that's not a lot of teams in the NBA right now.
I mean, it's Miami. I think right. They're the team that was in on Dame 2 years ago. It still makes sense fit wise. They've had a kind of weird start to the season. Bam has not been playing well at all. I'm not worried, but like
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Miami and a Tyler Hero swap, like we thought it was going to be 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I think that would kind of hurt the depth a little bit, but you also got to consider it. Because if you're Miami, they don't own the rights to a lot of their draft picks over the next few years. So you got to maximize whatever you have out of Jimmy Butler and Bam and that core, and you got to do something because you're not going to push past the Celtics, the Knicks, even the Magic or Pacers of the NBA if you don't get that situated.
So quick, back to the Thunder GM hypothetical. Giannis asks out. Is Jalen Williams off the table, or would you do like Jalen Williams and 3 firsts?
No, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I think J Dub fits really well with Shea. And J Dub's still 22 years old. He might be a top 20 player in the NBA right now, and he is 22 years old and possibly the third best player on a title team.
I mean,
So
Giannis is the third best player in the world, right?
absolutely.
So But I agree with you. I think the Thunder say no to J-Dub in any capacity. Even if it was straight up, the money doesn't work there. But even if it does, I think they would say no J-Dub for Giannis.
Yeah. I don't if you would bring it down to J-Dub and 1 first-round pick and a pick swap, yes.
Sure.
But 3 first-round picks plus a 22-year-old budding superstar, not only would I not do it, Sam Presti would be an idiot to do it.
All right. What about Cason Wallace, Hartenstein, the rookie point guard who I'm blanking on his name that you guys took as
Nikola
like
Topic?
Yep. And like 7 firsts.
We have 17 firsts in the next I think
Right.
okay,
Still have
I think
10
it's
more.
16 firsts in the next 6 years. Yeah, I'd do that.
And I think the Bucks would too.
You do however many firsts at that point it takes to get him because the Thunder are still the youngest team in the NBA outside the Magic. So what the Thunder need to do is if you want to make a power move like that, yeah, you throw out however many firsts it takes because none of those guys are untouchable. I would wait a bit to see how Hartenstein fits with the core of this team, but yeah, I'd do that.
If you can get Giannis without trading J-Dub, I'm doing that immediately if I'm Sam Presti.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good assessment of that.
Whatever it takes. 10 firsts, I'm doing it. Like, who cares?
Hey, if it gets the third best player in the world to pair with Shea, J-Dub, and Chet,
That's
nobody's
ridiculous.
stopping that. Not even
No.
the Celtics.
No.
All right, yeah. So NBA is more your alley. I do watch it a lot, but I mean, this is the first year in like 4 years I'm playing fantasy basketball. So that my team sucks. But
I suck at fantasy basketball.
I took
So
Tyrese Halliburton in the first round, if that makes you feel anything. He's
oof.
been bad.
That's
All
tough.
right. So now we go to something a little bit more both our speeds. We got what is going on in the NFL this year? I do not understand what's going on. Like, what?
I'm having a great time.
I
love
can
this.
see you're having a great time.
Oh,
I see
yeah.
the Sean Taylor jersey back
Yes,
there.
sir.
But I mean, it's just weird all around, right? Like, you have the Commanders are in first place in the East, or I think they might share first with Philly right now. I'm not entirely
We're
sure.
half a game up.
There you go. Yeah, because the Eagles had a bye in week 6.
Yep.
But you have the Niners arguably being the most disappointing team in the NFL, third in the NFC East behind my Seahawks and the Cardinals. You have the atrocity that is the AFC East. You have the fact that Anthony Richardson might be the worst quarterback since Jamarcus Russell. I don't understand it.
I mean, Bryce Young is giving you a run for your money on that one, but
Fair enough, but I think that's more due to bad system. I think Anthony Richardson's just a bad quarterback.
I think they're both just bad at quarterback.
I mean, fair enough.
There's no difference. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you want to start. We can start with the AFC East and how much of a disaster the Jets have been, and yet they just beat the Texans, who were 6-2 going into that game.
But then CJ Stroud masterclass of 11 for 30 for 201 yards. That was bad.
I don't care who, like, you can blame, the Diggs injury and the Nico Collins injury all you want. You shouldn't be going 11 for 30, right?
No.
You still got Tank Dell, you still got Joe Mixon, like, figure it out.
And I think John Mechie matches up on the outside well with Tank Dell anyways. And then you also have Xavier Hutchinson, who's a big receiver for you throw too. I'm not saying these guys are world beaters, but what I'm saying is you can't have games like that, especially when you're leading your division. Like, you got to keep that lead and keep a stranglehold on the supposed Super Bowl-led Joe Flacco Colts now.
So my favorite discussion point about the NFL right now this season is that I think, like, or take, whatever you want to call it, is like, I think there's been more turnover in the top 10 quarterbacks year over year between last year to this year than maybe ever before. I mean, I don't know, maybe in 1972, a bunch of guys play whatever, right? But as far as like recent memory, it feels like most of the time the top 10 quarterbacks are pretty consistent year over year. But this year, it's like, I mean, Jaden Daniels is a top 10 quarterback, brand new, right? like Sam Darnold's been playing his way into that conversation. I have my own Darnold opinions, but
Mhm.
right, yeah, is Joe Flacco a top 10 quarterback now? Right, like it feels like there's so much movement in quarterback play, and that's what's been confusing.
I also think there's just more movement at the top echelon of the standings too than we've seen in more recent years, right? Like, who expected the Cardinals to be as good as they've been? Shout out to Jonathan Gannon. Who expected Jane Daniels to be what he's been in the first in the I mean, you look like you're having just fun. Like you're just enjoying
Oh,
the
it's
ride.
I, football is great again. I've never been more happy as a football fan. I've been living through sad, depressing times as a Washington D.C. Commanders fan, and we made it out. It's like the LeBron meme. I can't believe this is my life.
Yeah, that's and shout out to Dan Quinn with what he's done with that defense too. Like he's actually made it a formidable unit, which
Yeah.
I did not think was possible.
Can you name 3 players on our defense?
Jonathan Allen,
He's
Emmanuel
hurt.
Forbes.
He's benched.
Yeah, he sucks. He's
Yeah.
bad. Um, yeah, I got nothing.
And that's my point. That's not me saying like I don't think anybody can. I mean,
Mhm.
unless you're a Commanders fan, and yet, yeah, we're playing really good defensive ball lately too. So some magic in the air in DC.
Was trading Jahan Dotson the best thing that happened to y'all this year? Like,
Howie Roseman has somehow some of the best trades in NFL history, but also maybe the 2 worst,
yeah.
right? Or 2 more made decisions if we're kind of the Justin Jefferson, Jalen
Hmm.
Rager fiasco. Yeah, a third
Yeah.
round pick for Jahan Dotson. How did we get away with that?
Because he's 23 and showed some flashes in his rookie year, I guess.
But I also just don't know what happened to him because I agree. His rookie year, I thought he was going to be a really good receiver in this league. And then
Hmm.
last year, he kind of just fell apart. I figured it was play calling, Ron Rivera, quarterback play, Sam Howell, chemistry. I don't know. And now, he's just not good. He just can't even like do anything out there.
Yeah, it's
No
it.
injuries, no nothing, just ghost.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's more division in the Eagles locker room, even though they're 5-2, than there was at the end of last year when they fired Brian Johnson. Like,
Mm,
especially like just on the offense, you're getting all these calls of like, oh, is Jalen Hurts a bad quarterback? No, you can't expect to turn over systems 3 years in a row and
Good point.
stay at that top level of offense, right? I think Sirianni's getting way too much hate. I think he's a jackass, but I think he's getting way too much hate.
Yeah, fair enough. They also just the AJ Brown injury for 2 or 3 weeks, and then Devonta Smith too. Like we saw that with the Texans. You know, it's not a complete excuse, but like if you lose AJ Brown, that's going to hurt the offense, right? It's going to make Jalen Hurts worse. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you know, even much of a Commanders fan I am, I'm still pretty high on the Eagles. I actually put out a
Yeah.
video yesterday saying I still think the Eagles are going to win the division.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I'm scared of those guys.
Yeah. And another thing to note, right, is what running backs might be back. Like
Yeah.
there's more teams going with ground and pound strategies that I've seen like all year. Like even the Bengals, who have been one of the better passing teams in the NFL, like Chase Brown, Zach Moss are doing pretty well on the ground. You've got Joe Mixon's apparently alive again.
Yep.
Kareem
Yep.
Hunt holding down the fort in Kansas State. Like there's so many like just running back situations. They're so much better than they were last year.
The Commanders, right? Brian Robinson, our whole offense is built on the ground game, right? And then that kind of opens up like the Jaden Daniels play action deep ball stuff. But like Austin Eckler is good again. I didn't
I
think he'd
how
be.
what voodoo magic did you inject
I
into that
don't.
man?
I had no clue, but I keep doing it, right?
Yeah,
Keep
as long
doing
as
it.
it's legal though.
Casting spells. Yeah, right. Good point. Yeah, the Ravens have been a notorious committee running back team, and they get Derrick Henry for 10 million a year, and now he's their bell cow. Meanwhile, J.K. Dobbins is good again, but now in L.A. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Running backs seem like they're definitely having somewhat of a resurgence.
Yeah, and it's very just refreshing to see it because it's the ground game's been dead for a while in the NFL, and everything like moved towards the passing game. And now we see teams being more balanced because a lot of teams are figuring out ways to stop the spread. That's why scoring in the NFL last year was lower than it had been the past 8 years, even though offense had been turning up and up and up, because you have so many teams that design their defense in a two-high safety look or in a
Right.
cover three look to stop those like 15, 20-yard plays that teams feed off of, which means the ground game has just become way more important.
It's just open now. That's what the defense is giving you. So it's an overcorrection. I totally agree. I was literally about to bring up the whole too high thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, great point.
Mel Kiper's an idiot for wanting to ban it. Just saying. Then
Yeah, I mean,
again,
I
when
was
is
anti-banning the shift, so it feels similar. I don't know how you
yeah,
can ban a coverage.
you can't. Like when has Mel Kiper, outside of like hitting on a couple draft prospects, though, ever said something smart?
I didn't know he was. I didn't even know he had a job outside of draft season. I didn't know ESPN let him on air outside of May or
Yeah,
April.
keep him on in March and April. Like that's the only time he needs to be on. McShay's an
Right.
actually good analyst who also does draft stuff. He's not.
I do
So
like.
all right, so we're gonna have a little friendly competition now to end this. So we're gonna play 20 questions NBA player. It's pretty simple. You're gonna go first, and I'll try to guess who you got, and then you try to guess who I got, and we'll see who can get the player in less questions.
Okay. Okay.
The only rule is it has to be a yes or no question.
Yep. All right. So you want to guess first?
Yeah. All right. You got one?
Let's do it. Yep.
Okay. Is this player currently playing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is he 27 years old or younger?
Yes, but let me like triple confirm.
Oh, it's a fringe player. Okay. He's like a okay.
He's under 27.
Okay. Um, is this player a guard?
No.
Okay. Um, does he play in the West?
No.
Does he rock a shooting sleeve?
No.
Okay. Whenever someone says yes to that, that always narrows it down because
Yeah.
there's very few guys that do. All right. Was his team a top 6 seed last year?
No.
Okay. Did they make the play-in last year?
Also no.
Gosh, so you picked a crap team. Okay. Um, okay. Is this player a center?
No.
Okay, so they're a wing. Um, was this player a lottery pick?
No.
So they're an East player who didn't make the playoffs, who's 26 or 27, and or 25 or 26, and wasn't a lottery pick. Is this player a starter?
No.
No.
You're at 10. Halfway.
Oh my gosh. Was this player traded this offseason or last offseason?
No.
So he's with the same team that drafted him? Oh my gosh. So he's not a starter, and he was on an East team that didn't even make the play-in. Okay, who didn't make the play-in in the East? The Hornets, Pistons, um, I'm blanking. Um, this doesn't count as a question. Can I look up who didn't make the play-in last year for the East?
Sure.
All right.
I mean, it should be, yeah. Hornets, Pistons, Wizards, uh, Hawks? Or no, Hawks made it. Actually, I don't even remember now. Were they 10 or 11? And Bulls were 10?
Yeah, Bulls were 10.
So Hawks?
No, the Hawks made it. Does this player play for the Wizards?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so
Here
that's
you go.
12. Okay.
You should be
So
able to get it now.
you picked a bench player who's a wing, who's under 26 on your own team? What? Is it Corey Kispert?
Boom. 13.
All right.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I honestly like blanked for a little bit. All right. Let's see. I've got one.
Okay. Okay. Is this player currently active?
Yes.
Okay. Does this player play in the East?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Is this player a starter?
No.
Okay. That's 3. So I have 9 questions. This is tricky. You did pretty good. 13 is a good score. Okay. Bench player in the East currently playing. Does this player play? Yeah, did this team make the playoffs last year?
Yes.
Okay. Uh
I can
okay.
see the gears turning.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of questions that like exactly cut it in half.
Mhm.
So did this team make the second round of the playoffs or further? Right?
No.
Okay. Yes. Inferring that they lost in the
They
first round.
lost in the first round.
Correct. Okay. Okay. Uh is this team in the uh was it the Southeastern Division?
Who's in the
That's
Southeastern
like
Division?
Wizards, Hawks, Magic, Heat, uh Hornets, I believe.
Yes, they are in the Southeast.
Okay, okay. How many am I at? 7?
Yeah,
Okay. Is this player on the Magic?
they are on the Magic.
Okay. Is this player a guard?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Guard off the bench for the Magic. Is it Anthony Black?
You got it. It was Anthony Black.
Dang,
Uh,
what was that? 8,
Dang it.
9?
I can't beat a basketball wizard, guys. I can't beat a basketball wizard. All right.
That was fun.
Well, Andrew, anything you want to say before we get off?
No, man, this is dope. Appreciate you having me on again. Am I the first repeat guest?
Yeah, you are.
It's an honor, as
Yeah,
always.
if you
We'll
want to
run
be,
it back again soon. Keep crushing it. And yeah, man. Until next time.
of course, if you want to ever be a repeat guest again, just let me know. And
Sweet,
if
brother.
y'all want to see it again, comment it down below. All right.
100%.
So we're gonna get off, and y'all, everyone watching, have a good day, all. Grace, love, peace, and mercy.